Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I am super excited because we have Jason Schaller back on from Van Gogh. It has been nearly 2 years since we've last spoken, and the band has a new track out called Get Up to You. Jason, I want to sincerely thank you so much again for taking the time. How have you been? What is news?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's great to see you again, and thank you for taking the time to do another interview. But yeah, man,
Welcome.
it's been a while since the last time we connected,
Yeah,
and there's been some great stuff happening. It's been a lot of good times. Obviously, we put out this new single. We
right?
actually had a couple others that came out over the last. I think, man, it's been almost it's been a few months since we spoke,
Sure.
but but yeah, we've done well with that. We played some summer festivals. We played the Blue Ridge Rock Fest, which was a
Nice.
lot of fun. We did some Michigan shows. Been traveling doing that. Uh, Get Up to You, which we're going to talk about now, is out on the radio right now. So we've had some good
Very cool.
response, and we're hitting alternative and AAA radio, and there's been some interviews on the radio. There's been some good plays that are happening, and we're getting a lot of good response. So I'm excited to talk to you about all
And
this
I'm
stuff, man.
not
Thank you.
surprised in the slightest. The song is fantastic, and honestly, the first thing I
Oh
want
man,
to talk about here is the slight pivot in sound from when I last listened. There's been a slight transition and more of that like hard rock sound to more of like a synth-driven sound, which I love either way you make it work. So I'd love to get the
right on.
background on what the idea was behind that, and what vision you're trying to fulfill.
Yeah, man. No, thanks. For us, I think given all of our musical influences, we all have a lot, but we're all kind of grounded in and grew up listening to a lot of stuff that's like that, like John Hughes type movies.
Sure.
When we were young teens that were, just starting to play out and play music, we were listening to a lot of bands that sounded a lot like what the sound is of Get Up to You.
Yeah.
And for us, it was like we've done this and that with the songs, and a good song is always a good song, but you want some good, you want to try to I don't know, represent it accurately with what you're trying to convey. And we just
Yeah.
started screwing around with some stuff,
Reasonable.
and with the Lynn, yeah, like Lynn drums and synthesizers. Jonah, who is our drummer in the band, is a multi-instrumentalist. He's a great musician. And so for him, like cranking out some of the synth stuff and like what we did with some of the drum effects and things like that came natural for him.
Okay.
And we recorded a couple of tunes actually, but decided on releasing this one as the single, and we've got some other stuff in the can that it's still Van Gogh. It still has the classic kind of
Sure.
hooks and choruses and guitar solos and kind of big, I don't know, it's like 80s arena rock, right? Or something. It's
Totally.
like
No, there's no denying in the slightest that like you guys have lost your signature essence. You know what I mean? But like every good band, you can't keep making the same song twice or else people get bored. You've got to do what makes you happy and fulfills you as an artist because at the end of the day, you're the one putting the time and effort into it. And then also, yeah, how are you going to ignore your influences and inspirations in the process? Do what makes you
yeah.
happy.
I mean, I think for us too, it's part of what's been great with us being independent and doing our own thing. We
Yeah.
don't have, we don't have a label telling us that the song needs to sound a certain way or that we need to change what we're doing. If we have a creative idea, we work with Chuck Alkazian, who's been producing us and working with us. He's open to that. And for us too, I think our songs do appeal to an audience that might be younger and older because we've
Hmm.
got kind of those influences of the 80s and 90s type
Totally.
sound. And that's come back at this point
Oh,
because,
in full
right?
force. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, everybody that grew up listening to that and loved it has kids now and they want to
Mhm.
introduce their kids to new music. And so their concerts for these guys that are going on the road right now, like Kate Bush, like the Stranger Things, like
Oh,
this song could be on
jeez.
Stranger Things soundtrack, right? It
Yeah.
sounds like that. And we didn't do it because of that. It just kind of naturally happened. But I think for us it showed that we've matured as a band to where we understand ourselves a little bit better, and we were able to make the call to say, hey, let's go in an 80s direction and
Yeah,
see where we can do with this. And we pulled it off, I think, in a good way. So
I would say
we're happy
so.
with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Now, on the actual background of the song, does it have a story behind it? The lyrics?
Yeah, I mean, Nate's always been our main songwriter, and
Okay.
he always comes in with an idea on the song. We all collaborate and come up with stuff, and it's been really cool to collaborate and come up with the ideas that we do for everything we've written, even when we talked Big Mistake way back in the day, and
Right.
both of us, I think, is actually what we talked about.
Yep.
But yeah, so the story here is really, you know, sometimes love is hard to attain, like true love, right?
Sure.
And it's just really saying that it's not always easy, right? Like you're gonna climb the tallest mountains. You keep driving, you keep doing what you're doing, you keep striving to like find true love.
Yeah.
And when you do, it's pretty amazing. But it takes a long time, and it takes commitment, and it takes sacrifices, and it's really a song about that. It's an upbeat, fun love song that's not some sappy ballad that typically would be written about something like that. So just
Completely
catchy, fun
understandable.
music.
No, man, it doesn't always need to be super over the top relatable. It is a fun song, and it's something that you can just immediately dive into. Don't have to overthink it either, and I think that's why I kind of grooved with it so
Yeah,
quickly. So, um, another thing I'd love to know is like for someone that might be unfamiliar with your music, this is definitely an interesting introduction through this song, just based on past
yeah.
discography. If you sort of had to give the elevator pitch of what you would call this, if you had to describe it genre wise, like how would you do that?
Yeah. Okay. Let's think about this for 1 second. I don't
And
want to.
there's no right answer and there's a no wrong answer here.
Yeah. 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 It is the Breakfast Club meets um radio friendly power pop that you could jump and sing along with in an arena.
Love
Yeah.
it. And
There you
so
go.
if that sounds enticing to you, then say stop and click the play button right now. Love that. Very cool. Obviously, you guys have been super busy as well. You've put out singles over the last couple of years, and I'm sure you're always cooking up something new. Are we gonna
Oh yeah.
see, a continuation into the experimentation with your sound?
I think you will. I think you might hear more of this, kind of synth and stuff. We've toyed with the idea. We're old school where we don't like to play with a bunch of backing tracks and everything
Oh
else. When we
yeah,
play
yeah,
live, we play live. So we've actually talked, because even what we did with both of us, even what we did with Big Mistake, even a little bit of Watch It Burn, some of the stuff there. I think if we kind of really embrace what we're doing, and we think of ourselves like REO Speedwagon or something, we could add a keyboard player
oh yeah,
to the band. And so we've talked about doing that, quite honestly. We've had some discussions about it. We've been able to really pull off live what we've done so far in a good way. That sounds like really solid rock and roll. And when you hear Get Up to You live right now, it's a little heavier.
sure.
There's a live version on YouTube if anybody goes out there and searches, which was an early version. It was a rehearsal before we even recorded the song,
Oh,
when we were really working through it. So you get to kind of hear live what it would sound like.
right.
But to your question, yeah, I mean, I think you're going to hear more stuff like this. I think you're going to hear us diversify a little bit, and we even have a ballads that's going to be coming out that's like acoustic, and a lot of harmonies with us all
Sweet.
singing, and flute on the piece as well. So
Love that.
it's a good mix of stuff. And it gives us a wider range of audience for people that like our music. But I think at the end of the day, people still know it's Van Gogh because they hear Nate's voice, number
Yeah,
one. And then number two, it's still got that same kind of melodic
totally.
structure that I always try to follow.
Yeah.
So,
It's like you leave those
yeah,
breadcrumbs of the past, but then you're always exploring new avenues. That's the way to do it.
you got it,
I
man.
really
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
Now, since like the iteration of the band, has the process changed of actually starting these songs and making them, or do you think that you found the equation to make it happen?
Yeah, I don't, we still like, we still miss the old days of getting together in the basement and like just making a
Yeah,
ton of noise and then coming up with an idea.
of
But
course.
I mean, I think I mentioned, like, when we first spoke, this really inspired us to start writing a lot of music, and especially
Right.
for Nate. When you're sitting and working, and just you always have guitars around you, and now that we have iPhones, I mean, if you get an idea for a good song and a verse and a chorus, I mean, we lay it down, he throws it our way, says, what do you guys think of this? And then next thing you know, that turns into something that we lay down in Pro Tools, and then
Yeah.
we all start to layer ideas on top of it. And next thing you know, we got a we got, you know, a great song that we put together. So
Love
I don't
that.
know. I kind of like the way things are working right now. We can work very quickly. Like we're writing songs way faster than we ever have before. And when it comes time to record them and actually lay them down so that we can, you know, see what the finished product will be like, we work very quickly with
Love
that
that.
stuff. So
Best
yeah,
not to overthink
speed
it.
is king.
I fully agree.
Yeah, no, you're
Um,
right.
so another reminder for anyone that hasn't seen our first interview, it has been nearly 2 years since we last spoke. And
Yeah.
the last time we spoke, we could just be straight up, the world was in a weird place. Didn't know what was going on with music, didn't really know the future of the industry.
Oh yeah.
Thankfully,
Yeah.
things have kind of figured themselves out in a way. Shows are happening, festivals are happening. Which brings me to this question. Last time it was so up in the air if you'd be playing shows, and I'd love to hear
Yeah.
if you have that in the works or if you have some things coming up that you'd love to plug.
Yeah, no, I know. We were like, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll just, you know, we got to play it safe. I mean, there are
I
some people that,
mean,
you know, it's like it's very crazy.
yep,
Um, you know, we actually put together a big show and returned to Detroit, and it was kind of our like, you know, reunion type show, like
sure.
our debut of the new Van Gogh, and we did that back in May of 2021.
Okay.
So we, or actually, no, hold on a second. It was this May. It was this, wait, was
Oh
it
wow.
this May? Last,
I know
yeah,
time is weird.
yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I
It's
can't believe it's
crazy.
gonna
I
be
know.
October
I
and
know.
time flies by. Yeah, big time. So or maybe it was it May? I don't, man, I'm lost. This is bad. Maybe,
All
you
good.
know, at 23 months, I think now I have like Alzheimer's and
For
everything else
real.
now too.
We're all
You
screwed
know,
up
it's like
in one way or another. That's a
a
fact.
COVID fog, you know,
I
but
know, seriously.
to answer your question, we're definitely playing. We're actively playing. We played some festivals during the summer when, like I mentioned, the Blue Ridge Rock Fest, which was amazing.
Yeah,
Over 200 bands over the course of 5 days, really,
that's amazing.
and that was a great experience. You know, we're looking forward to, you know, knock on wood, going back next year and doing it again. We went up. We played some shows in Detroit. We had a show booked with Grand Funk Railroad, and then
Oh
Don
damn.
Brewer from Grand Funk got COVID at the last minute. So it
Yeah.
worked out okay because you know, we were still able to play, and we had some other good bands we were playing with that night, and that was a big festival as well in Michigan. So right now we're working into like end of the year, and I think because I'm in Florida and the rest of the guys are up in Michigan, the weather's starting to turn. It's starting to get a little cool. We're going to try to book some stuff down south, and you know, potentially too, we're talking with a few people about getting on some opening shows for some bigger bands coming through town, playing some of the theaters and arenas in town to, you know, do some opening
Nice.
stuff. So that would be great. Yeah.
Very cool. And where are you located again?
You know, I live now. I lived in Winter Park. That's, you know, where kind of home base has been, and I recently moved to Sanford, Florida, which is about 25 minutes north of Winter Park. Winter Park's Orlando, so I'm
Got
Central Florida. The rest of the guys are all up showing some love for the glove in Michigan,
it.
and
Nice.
you know, but I'm originally from Michigan, so for me, it's like last week we played in Kalamazoo, last Friday, and so I flew up and, you know, met the guys who played the show, and then I flew back on Saturday. So I've got a rig up in Michigan, I got a rig
Okay.
down here, I got a rig for the guys down here. So for us, it's kind of cool because now we're like the
Yeah.
snowbird band. Yeah, we're
Seriously
like the
though.
retirees. Yeah.
I know people are gonna start heading towards you pretty soon here. My goodness,
Oh
it's
yeah,
about to freeze up. Well, listen, I
yeah,
mean, sincerely, I'm so happy that you guys are able to actually get together and play music because there's nothing like standing in a crowd of people, like watching music that you love, especially through all the crap that everyone's been through. It must just
yeah,
feel great to make people happy with your music. So I'm thrilled to
yeah,
hear it. Um, we are filming this in the middle of October right now, which means we're very close to closing out this year.
yeah.
I would love to know what the plan is potentially for the next year. What are things looking like? Any lofty goals that you'd like to hit?
Yeah, we're gonna put out another album. So
Sweet.
we've already written about half the songs and recorded close to half the songs. We are gonna work on a few more tunes. We're gonna go back into the studio. We may even try doing a cover song. We've been throwing around some ideas, which would be kind of
Okay.
fun. We haven't done
Always.
that yet. And then we've also talked about potentially bringing back. Nate and I played in a band for several years, which really had its most popular moments during the mid 2000s. We were based in
Sure.
Detroit, but we did a lot of stuff all over the place, and we are called South Normal.
Sweet.
And so we have a catalog of music, of great music that never really got the exposure that we're getting today with Van Gogh. So I think we're going to go back and we're going to look into that and see if there's a few of the old songs that we had from back in the day that we can reinvent and add some a modern twist to, and bring back to people's ears, so that old fans from the old South Normal days can hear it, but then we can gain some new friends and fans with new versions of the songs and stuff, and maybe put a little bit of an 80s twist on it too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Again, you
yeah,
got to do whatever makes you happy, but there's nothing wrong with throwing a cover in there every once in a while. People love it,
yeah.
and turns into a big sing along. So what's to hate?
You got it, man. Yeah, it'd be great.
I got a couple more for you. I want to know, what have you been listening to lately? What's hot on your playlist, or even just something that you've been coming back to?
Yeah, that's a great question. What have I been? You know what I've actually been listening to recently? When we released "Get Up to You" and took it to radio, which anybody listening here, call your local radio station and request Van Gogh's "Get
There
Up
you
to You,"
go.
because if it's a alternative station or a triple A station, even some top 40 hit stations are playing it across the United States. So we're out there requested, but what I came across, which was pretty cool, is like the Smashing Pumpkins are back out there. So they've
Oh
got this new
yeah.
song, Beguiled, which is like super heavy and cool. And I just saw them play. I think they played it on Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel Live the other night. I watched a video of that. It's fun, because it sounds like some of the old Smashing Pumpkins stuff. And from what I
Sure.
understand with talking to some of the people in the industry, is that like there's 30 songs on the album or something, or they put 30 songs in the can, and it kind of spans the whole kind of history of like the Smashing Pumpkins. So it's been fun to listen to that. You know what
Okay.
else I've been really listening to, and it's not necessarily music, is Justin Hawkins from the Darkness.
Yeah. Does he have a solo project or something?
He's got this podcast that he does called Justin Hawkins Rides Again. If
Okay.
you
I've
haven't seen it,
never heard of it. I love The
you need to
Darkness. I
check
used
it
to
out.
listen to him all the time. I didn't know he had a podcast though.
He's so brilliant. He uses that word a lot, but
Yeah.
he listens to all new music, old music, a little bit of everything, and he talks about the music business, and he talks about recording. He breaks the songs down. He has his guitar with him, and he talks about the chord structures and how it's similar to other music and things like that.
Sure.
It's really interesting, and I started watching it when there were like literally like, I don't know, 10,000 followers on it or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and he's got like 275,000 followers now, and it's like blowing up.
That's
And
awesome.
I've been finding some new music through
Yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
listening to I've been listening to the Struts. I like
Oh,
those
that's
guys too.
great.
Yeah. I like the new song they got out right now too, which is pretty cool. It's a lot of fun, energetic song. So yeah, been listening to new stuff, and but that Justin Hawkins Rides Again has been like kind of refreshing thing, and you should definitely check it out. You'll love it.
Nice. Thank you for the rec. I absolutely will. I'm always looking for a
Yeah.
new podcast to check
Justin,
out.
I just pitched you,
There
man.
you go. Jason, I've got one more for you, and I don't know if you remember, but it's how I've been closing these up over the past couple of years. But basically, the question is for the person that is going to discover you from this, and for the person that's going to listen to your guys' music for the first time, what is an
Huh?
opening message that you'd like to say to them?
Oh man. Okay, this is good. Thanks, Austin.
You're welcome.
Opening message would be get ready to sing along. You know, like I think, and be ready to find your own meaning in the songs, because they're very specific, a lot to Nate and his like personal experiences that he writes about, but he
Hmm.
does it in such a way that I think a lot of people can relate to it. And it can, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to family, when it comes to COVID, there's things like that. When you listen to some of the new Van Gogh, you're going to find like some fun in the lyrics, and you're going to find it catchy. So you'll be careful, because you'll be singing along with it. That's what I'll have to say.
Was a fantastic answer. Jason, I want to thank you so much again. Please let me plug your music for you one more time. The song
Yeah.
is called Get Up to You. We will have links in the article so that people can listen and share and follow along and do all that fun stuff. But again, thank you so much. Let's please not go in this long again without talking.
Yeah, we won't.
And it sounds like there's so much more on the way. So everyone, stay tuned, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what else comes.
Yeah, same here, Austin. It's great to see you again, and thank you so much. We won't let too much time pass between our
Awesome.
next this and our next conversation. So thank you. Really
You're
means a
very
lot that you're
welcome.
taking the time for us again.
Totally. Have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.
All right, thanks,
All right.
dude.
See ya. Bye bye.
Later.